So there's lots of other things that you should be worried about with a Supreme Court ruling. However, we can look through this. Everyone's saying "oh fuck." Yes, I agree. I agree with the "oh fuck." I agree being worried. I agree with maybe. Let's turn that off. I agree that if you... Actually, let's turn it way down. There we go. If you are worried about Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying, valid. We need to discuss the fact that she is not like the only thing that is keeping this country from falling apart. And even with her existing, it's still managing to do bad stuff. So the Supreme Court's function is not to keep people from doing bad stuff. It's to make sure that something is inherently constitutional. Now, the Constitution is an imperfect thing, and I disagree with a lot of what's written in it. Abby, my dudes, thanks so much for that. I don't think you're fucked any faster. I don't think any of us are fucked any faster for Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying here. Okay? It's not a good thing, but we have to keep in mind, liberal individual, okay? Liberal individual. Do I need to worry about Roe v. Wade? They just did abortion, and it won 5-4. So they've already done this. This is, may a state require that all doctors who perform abortions have admitting privileges to the hospital within 30 miles. I don't think you need to worry about Roe v. Wade right now. Just from a constitutional perspective, it seems very hard to argue in opposition of it. Yeah. I feel like at some point this year I lost the ability to distinguish between different magnitudes of being fucked. Donald Trump being the president is the much bigger being fucked. And if you are freaking out about this right now, I need you to make sure that you are voting against the person that would put the wrong Supreme Court justice in office. Like, you need to do it. You need to do it. There's no cosmic law. Like, if you die in 20 years, you're just dead. You're not meeting a maker that is going to, like, judge you on who you fucking voted for. Voting has always been and always will be, even in a fucking utopian society, it will always be who is less likely to fuck me and who is more likely to not fuck me. Right? Lord Draken, thanks for following. The only way you get to the point where it's not that is if you are the candidate, right? Or we stop voting. Now, there's some people who are anti-voting, and I'm not really for that. I don't like the idea of just because I'm, you could count on me to be a pretty decent, benevolent dictator, but passing that down isn't a good thing, right? We don't want that. Need to hurry up and get my ace cell fixed. Oh wait, I can't. I'm too young to make that decision. Oh yeah. This is bullshit. X-Smish. Sarah wants the same thing. Do I go vote in person or rely on the post office? You do both. Make sure that don't do both. Like, don't not voter fraud. Do both in that like prepare to do both. Like, you can. I'm probably just gonna go in person because I'm worried about that too. I'm probably gonna go in person. Yeah. But prepare to do both if you need to. Not vote twice, but like if your ballot isn't counted or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Because you can usually count on it. Just make sure you get it in early if you're gonna do mail-in ballot, because with COVID it's not necessarily because they're being underfunded, it's because they're being overworked. Like, as I worked there for a little bit, guys. I don't know if you realize this. I worked at the post office, and the volume there is ridiculous. It's so much. And every day they get something, they have to put it out every single day, but mistakes happen. And so, you know, and it just slows everything down. Like, even though, like, you put it in your mailbox, all they got to do is pick it up. Like, this is the easy part. You take it out of the mailbox, you put it wherever you put outgoing mail, and then when you get back to the post office, you drop it off in a box. The clerk inside the post office, especially if you're like a small town post office, make sure that the postage is correct on all of them. It usually is. And if the postage is correct, in this case they're prepaid, so the postage is fine, they make sure it goes in outgoing. Outgoing gets picked up around 6:30 or 6 o'clock from all post offices and gets bussed back to the hub, and it should take 2 days for that to get to wherever it needs to be. However, in COVID, it's taking a little bit longer because sometimes there's people that are sick. So yeah, Defeater, let me know when you picked your shot. So, yeah, I would be prepared to, if you don't have faith in your local post office, I would be prepared to go vote yourself. Calling it now. Trump tries to call the election the same night it happened. Oh, maybe. If you live in Virginia, early voting started today, and you can still request a mail-in ballot until 10/3. You can drop your finished ballot off. You're spelling ballad like a love song, like every rose has its thorn. That's what you're spelling is ballad. It's ballot, B-A-L-L-O-T, ballot. Yeah, and you spelled it 3 times. There's no way that was autocorrect. You've gone your whole life thinking it's been spelled ballad. This is wow. This is a big moment for you. Calling it now. Trump tries to call the election the same night it happens. He'll be ahead because more Trump supporters don't believe in COVID, so they'll vote in person. And days later, as absentee ballots come in and be clear Biden won or was close, then Trump will push conspiracy. I mean, yeah, of course. You have it? Tabasco one? All right. Hey, happy birthday, Defeater. Happy birthday, Defeater. And all your doing the big gay with Jerf. I hope you guys have a good one. This is number 3 that Jerf sent me. I don't know what it is. It's been very tasty. I'm going to take this sip, take a shot. So 1, 2, 3, bottoms up to Feeder. Congrats. Happy birthday. 21st birthday. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Cast your ballad. Well, I'm getting drunk. Trump will make Ted Cruz next justice and we'll be fucked for 50 years. Here's why you're wrong. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about why not to freak out, and then we'll talk about why you should freak out. So right, they're not explicitly pro Trump. Can you see this? Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Here's why you don't freak out. And we can talk about if you need to freak out in the future. Okay? This is probably easier to see. It's Canadian based on... Ooh, nice. It's very good. Happy birthday! Hope you both have a happy Jerf day. Nice. May a New York grand jury require President Trump's accountants and bankers to turn over records? Yes, they can. They can. So they're not pro-President Trump. They are still pro-Constitution in a 7-2 ruling. This is a big deal. So right now you can tell, like, this would be 5-4 ruling if they were like just Trump's like fuckboys. You know what I'm saying? This is a good sign. This right here is a very good sign that you're not in this like that some people take their job seriously. Ted Cruz definitely probably doesn't take his job that seriously. Maybe he would. I don't know. But I'm just saying this is really good things. This is a reason you shouldn't be freaking out right now. Okay. Abortion. May a state require that all doctors who perform abortions have admitting privileges at a hospital within 30 miles. No, the court said in a 5-4 ruling. This is the abortion thing is going to be interesting. The abortion thing is going to be interesting. So, there's a reason to be concerned about abortion. However, you'd have to have a very specific case that would run tantamount to Roe v. Wade. I think worst case scenario, you're looking at you're looking at a situation where they'll try to restrict those sorts of things. However, due to states' rights being constitutional, I don't think you can federally. I don't think you can rule this on a federal thing. You know what I'm saying? SCOTUS has to have a reason. Yeah, a reason to overturn specifically Roe v. Wade. Specifically, so it had to be a very specific case. So, remember, they don't just like go, okay, we're doing Roe v. Wade today. You know what I'm saying? They're seeing cases that get pushed up through the system, through appellate courts, through the 13th Circuit, through all these to get to the Supreme Court. I don't know if you guys understand how the Supreme Court works. So basically, let's go to Paint, just in case you don't know how it works. And this is going to be very rudimentary. I'm not going to use the right words. I'm not going to use the right letters. I'm not going to use the right acronyms. It doesn't matter. So here's Court 1, okay? Here's Court 1. If you win, you win. You get money or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You win, you win. If you lose, typically they appeal, and it goes to Court number 2. Then they appeal again, goes to Court number 3. And all the way up, you're going to go 4. And eventually you're going to get to the big kahuna, the Supreme Court. Eventually. I mean, it may take different, may go different routes, and there might be another one here. So, it just depends on how it works. But eventually that's how it works its way up. So it has to go through a number of courts. Then other judges have to say, okay, well, there's reason for your appeal here. So, I mean, it's not just the Supreme Court that defends constitutionality. It's all the courts all the way up the system. The 13th Circuit, I believe, is this one. I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I took any Supreme Court adjacent things. My focus was history, not modern day government stuff. But Southern District of New York is a pretty high court as well. Either way, but conservative legal groups have been banking on court cases, waiting for favorable. Well, of course, yeah, they do that. So do we. We do that too. NAACP does that. Like, we literally do that. Anyway, so that's how it works. So it's not like they just decide we're going to do, X today. This is a big one. This is one that is very near and dear to all of our hearts, obviously. Huge LGBT concerns in general. The court has been very consistent as of late. What is banking a case? It's basically keeping it from being pushed to the Supreme Court, waiting for a better Supreme Court. Does that make sense? Depending on which side you're on. It's basically just stalling the paperwork till last second to try to like barely push it up the court systems. You usually need a lot of money in special interest groups. Abortion is not as big a hot button issue as some other stuff. And the Supreme Court only sees a limited number of things. So, I don't think there's a lot of people single issue voting for abortion right now because that hasn't been the topic of discussion for about 12 years. Yeah. See, Migu, again. Guys, this is not, you're not fucked. Just pay attention. Calm down. Why does everyone think that Ruth Bader Ginsburg was there with a fucking lightsaber defending the universe? She was a liberal, and she stayed too long. She could have quit under Obama, either term, and he would have appointed someone younger, and we wouldn't be in this position right now. She also isn't like super progressive. It's okay. It's also not okay in some areas, but it's okay here. Look at LGBTQ and workplace rights. 6-3 ruling. Ruth Bader Ginsburg dies. This is a 5-4 ruling. Even with fucking, I don't know, Ben Shapiro as a Supreme Court justice. 5-4 ruling, okay? They're not going against the Civil Rights Act. You'd have to double stack this. Even Gorsuch was in the majority, okay? Now, Dreamers, stuff like this. DACA, this is definitely a hot button issue, okay? Stuff with immigration. This is going to ride party lines, okay? Because there's not a lot of constitutionality involved or constitutional writing involved in this specific kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, keep that in mind. You have some of these. May a state exclude church schools from the state-sponsored tuition aid program that supports students in other private schools. So this is a very specific religion in schools thing. That is unconstitutional discrimination based on religion. The court said 5-4. That was with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I don't know. Like, we have religion in a spot here. So the only dissents were Breyer, Ginsburg, Sotomayor, and Kagan. This isn't a big deal for me, this specific religion in schools regards to tuition and stuff. We need fundamental school reform in general. What article is this again? This is just this is the LA Times. It's just the Supreme Court major cases. You can find it almost anywhere. This is just easier to digest than the SCOTUS website, because then you have to go through your opinions and shit. Did Congress violate the separation of powers of the president's executive authority when it created Consumer Financial Protection Bureau 2010? So this is kind of, now this is something maybe if you care a lot about the emoluments clause and like financial issues. However, like, this was made in 2010. Obama was president. You know what I'm saying? Worry about your trans healthcare rights, but also, as far as being trans and being in workplace rights, this right here, you should be fine. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 has been very good for all groups. Your healthcare rights, Joe Biden's the candidate for that. I'm tossing that out there. Chat, obviously, healthcare expansion is a huge portion of the platform. It's not what we want it to be, but it's better than the Obama one. It just is. It's expanding. It's expanding Medicare for all, or for not Medicare for all, Medicare for some. It's expanding Medicare coverage for a lot of people. And it's huge, and it's a step in the right direction. We can't let perfection get in the way of good, guys. We can't. Joe Biden's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Dreamers, president and independent agencies, blah, blah, blah. Religion and teachers. Look at this. Are church-run schools entitled to a religious exemption from federal anti-discrimination laws when hiring foreign teachers? 7-2 ruling. Ginsburg's out. It's still a 6-3 ruling. People are religious in the United States still. We're in the minority here. We have to deal with that. We have to deal with that. I mean, there's an 8-1 ruling. Like only 2 of these, and this is all the liberal judges are a lot more. Yeah, we know you're not perfect. Excuse you. Electoral college. Can a state require its appointed electors to cast their presidential ballot in the electoral college for the candidate who won the most popular support in the state? Yes, the court said in a 9-0 ruling, the state can require. Like, they're for the electoral college. All of them. Look at them. Electors are not free agents. Religion and birth control. Maybe the Trump administration exempt employers. See, even Ginsburg doesn't have enough power for this kind of thing. Still, you have religious individuals being like, no, they shouldn't have to be able to provide no-cost contraceptive. You know what I'm saying? These are the 2020 rulings, right? We're not that close on some of this important stuff. You know what I'm saying? From constitutionality speaking. Now, what you could do is you could circumvent, and here's what happens often, is you can have a law passed by 2/3 of the Congress people, and it becomes law regardless of what the Supreme Court thinks. Your only flaws are being a het, not being a dedicated intactivist. What's intactivist? What the fuck does that word mean? Intactivist? What? Person who is involved in intactivism, one who campaigns against involuntary, non-therapeutic. What? Person who is one who campaigns against. What are you talking about? A dedicated? Well, I'm definitely just I'm not for circumcision. And bad takes on Star Wars. You have really bad takes on Star Wars. So anyway, the point is here. Your rights, insofar as the Civil Rights Act are concerned, are the most important thing they could probably take from you. And the Supreme, the Supreme Court is going to be on your on your team here. And only the three worst people, Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh, dissented. Thomas is, I mean, let's look at the SCOTUS. Let's look at it right now. Supreme Court of the United States. How old are these fucks? Thomas is 72. We need to get... See, Breyer's the next up. 82. You know what I'm saying? Alito's 70. Like, these are things that we got to consider. This one... See, again, this is why we should have fucking... Supreme Court's a weirdly constructed situation. And you know what? Roberts, for all the things that we were worried about when George W. Bush put him in place, he is a conservative, but he's not a fucking fanatic. I'm surprised that Roberts isn't just the ultimate bag of trash. Anyway, Clarence Thomas will be hopefully he'll retire soon. Roberts isn't as bad as I thought he'd be, which, I mean, he's still bad. I don't know. Does anyone have any questions about this? The biggest thing is, I don't think, and I agree. I agree here a bit. I'm not confident that I am not confident that the person in charge of the country right now, the old Donald Trumpy, I don't believe that he is capable of smashing this through before the election. I just don't think they're going to get so much obstruction from Congress. I just don't think it can happen right now. I think they're going to have to wait till after the election. So yeah, I don't think, because if she had died at the beginning of the year, I'd be very worried. You know what I mean? However, it's not really the case.